Hello everyone, this is review number 7 or lesson number 7 for our review series of programming. The topic that we're going to discuss in this series is all about looping or iteration. So let's start uh, going deeper how we're going to learn on this topic. In computer science, a loop is a programming structure that repeats a sequence of instructions until a specific condition is met. Programmers use loops to cycle through values, add sums of numbers, repeat functions, and many other things. Loops are supported by all modern programming languages through their implementations and syntax may differ. Two of the most common types of loops are the while loop and the for loop. A while loop is a simplest form of programming loop. It states that while a condition is valid, keep looping. Okay, so as we see the syntax for while loop, first you're going to declare an integer number, for example, to test the condition. So int num is equal to 0. So this is now how we run the while loop. First, you write while, then there is left parenthesis and open parenthesis stating that this is the condition. So if the condition will turn true, what will happen? This block of codes here inside the left brace will execute. So as we can see in our condition, we have 0, num1, num is equal to 0. So 0 is less than 10. So that means that this condition is true. So next thing you are going to do is output num. Okay? Then after output num, you will have an increment which is num plus plus. Okay, which is increment. So after this, after you output the variable num, it will add to 1. So by the way, this is the an output of the entire code. So it's just only this one, but it outputs a bunch of numbers from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. How this output works. Okay, so let me explain it to you. This going back to this condition, so this condition is very important because if this condition turns false, then this block of codes will not execute. So the while loop will not execute. So in order to perform this short block of codes, you must make the condition true. Okay, based on our example, num1 has a initial value of 0. So 0 is less than 10. So that is true. So now if that is true, then the block of codes here inside the left brace and the right brace will execute. First, it outputs num. The output of num is equal to 0. That is why the first output is 0. After this output, you will increase 1, add 1 of the variable num because it is an increment value. It is an arithmetic operator, so meaning the value of num, whatever the value of num plus 1. So the answer for that one, now we have a new value of num which is 1. It's not still end. It will now go back to the condition. Now we have a new value of num which is 1. Okay, why 1? Because of this, we have initial value of 0, we output it, we have the condition to make it true, so 0 is less than to 10, we output cout num, so we have 0 value for num. Next is we increment num, so we have now a new value of variable num which is equal to 1. Now 1, we don't need to have a 0 right now because we have the new value of num which is 1. 1 is less than 10. As again, this is true because 1 is less than 10. So it repeats cout output num. That is why we have 1 here for the second loop because we output the new value of num. Then Going back to this num plus plus, we have num is equal to 1. So plus 1, so we have now the new value of num, which is 2. Now repeat for the loop with the third time. Num has a value of 2. Then 2 is less than 10. Again, that is true. It will execute the while loop. Okay, it outputs again the num, so that is why we have 2 here. Then we have to increment the num variable, which is 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. So the num variable has a new value which is equal to 3. Then um, we have another condition, 3 is less than 10. Another, this condition is equal to true. So another execution of this loop for the fourth time. So that is the time output 3. So we have, this is the value for 3. 3 plus 1 because of the increment, num plus plus 3 plus 1, so we have the new value of num, which is 4. Now another condition, 4 is less than 10. That is now true again. So now the execution of this code of so we have 4 is less than 10. So we have this condition to perform. So output again, C out num. So we have 4. Then 4 plus 1 because you have now num increment. So we have a value of 4 for num. 4 increment, num increment. So that is so we have now 5. So 5, okay, less than 10. Again, it's true. Okay, it's will output again, which is 5, and it will now increment again for 6. So it will repeat until the num, so output 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now we will now on the last loop. So we have 9 is less than 10. That is true again. This expression will execute, or this block of code will execute because the condition is true. Now we output it. We have 9. Now 9 plus 1 because num has a value of 9. You are going to increment it. So we have 9 for the num. So 9 plus 1, we have 10. Now we have now the new value of num, which is equal to 10. Now 10 is less than 10. Now the answer for that is false. If that is false, then the loop will stop. Okay? So that is why the output for this program is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it stops with 9. It is because we control the loop. Okay? We control the loop by just adding this increment value. We don't want the program to become finite. Okay? Oh, sorry. Infinite, meaning you cannot control it. So it makes your computer crash because it always print the number. If you remove this num plus plus, it always outputs 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 until your RAM will full with data and your computer will crash out. So you don't want your program to be finite or your loop to become finite, meaning you cannot control it. So in order to control your loop, because looping is the nature for looping is to repeat itself. Okay, you repeat the process. So in order to control it, you have to be aware how you're going to um, control the loop by its condition. Okay, note why we need to control the loop. Okay, since loops will repeat until a given specific condition is met, it is important to take sure that loop will break at some point. If the condition is never met, the loop will continue indefinitely, creating an infinite loop. Writing code that allows infinite loops is bad programming. Okay, it's bad programming practice since they can cause programs to crash. Okay, that is what I am talking you a while ago. Let me show you how you are going to write or implement a while loop statement in your program. Okay, so to write to start with, you write the keyword while with open close parenthesis, and then we have left brace and right brace. So this area here will execute uh, block of codes here will execute if the condition is true. So this is the uh, condition. Okay, if the condition is false, then this while loop will not execute. Okay, so that is the first thing we're going to know. In order to run this bunch of codes inside the left brace and the right brace, all you need to do is to make this condition true. Okay, 5 times in our program, so we can have like this one. Int, okay, num1 or loop, okay, is equal to 5. Okay, then we can have the loop. mm, You can have 5, or you can have, sorry, you can have change to 0. So we have loop is less than 5. So we will output cout hello. So in this scenario, we had a loop. So first we have a loop, we have a value of 0, initial value of 0. So 0, it is this is the condition, 0 is less than 5, so it makes it true. So if that is true, what will happen? We will make an infinite loop. Why? Because every if this is true, everything inside of this bracket will always repeat. So we will try to run it. Run. Okay, as you can see here, the program always print hello. As you can see, the scroll bar is always scrolling. It always print. So you can see an unlimited amount of loop. It is because the condition the condition is true. So going back to the note that I have with you. So this one. So since loop will repeat until a given specific condition is met, it is important to make sure that the loop will break at some point. If the condition is never met, the loop will continue indefinitely, creating an infinite loop. Writing code that allows infinite loops is a bad program practice since they can cause program to crash. So what happened, sooner or later when your memory is full with this bunch of data that's being looped infinitely, so your computer will turn crash. Okay, so is a bad practice. That is why let me close that one before my computer breaks. So we will control the loop. Okay, so how can we control the loop? We Our goal is to loop only 5 times in this example. So all we need to do, since we only have 5 times, so we will have changed the initial value to loop by adding it by 1. So we can have loop plus plus. By adding this one, we can now control the loop and the loop will become finite. Okay, meaning controllable. Okay, as explained it to you earlier. So we have initial value of 0 for loop. 0 is our condition is 0 is less than 5. That is true. It outputs hello. Then loop, the value of loop is 0 plus 1. I have 1. It will now continue to the second loop. 1 is less than 5. Okay, that is true again. Print hello. Now change the value of 1 from loop to 1 plus 1 equals 2. So 2 is less than 5, so it true again. So it will repeat the process until the loop changes to 5. So 5 is less than or equal to 5. That makes the loop false. So that is what make it stop. We control the loop. So we will try to run the program. As you can see, we have already outputted 5 times because of this loop. So loop solves repetition. So if you see repeating pattern, so you will going to use loop. Okay, you can choose either while loop or for loop. So if you want to output 10 times a number, so you can change it to 10. Okay, run a program. Okay, automatically you can have 10 output without with a single out, out see out. Okay, so I will give you a practical example how can we consider loop very important. Okay, as you can see, okay, for example, we will create a simple multiplication table. Okay, so the user we will create a multiplication table for example to let the user input a number. For example, it will input 1. So we will going to create a multiplication table for 1. So until siguro 1 up to 100 pwede. So pwede. Okay, so you can have 1 up to 100 multiplication table. So all we need to do first is to close this one and upgrade. Um, we have multiple in okay. User input. Okay, you can have user input. Okay, see out. Uh, enter a number to be to enter a number. Okay, and see in, which is user input. That is user input. Okay, so we will try to create. Okay, we will have 1 times 1, 1 times 2, 1 times 3, 1 times 4 until 10. For this moment only have 1 to 10. So in this one, um, we will have the while loop. Okay, so change it to okay the number of loop we will going to have. Okay, so start loop we can have int start loop strt loop, okay, is equal to 0, and we have end loop is equal to 10. So we can have like this, strt loop is less than end loop. Okay, so we output see out. Okay, the inputted number, user input. Okay, then we also output the multiplication. Okay, that one. And for the start loop, okay, start with a what number first? 0. So 0, 1 times 0, 1 times 2, 1 times 1, 1 times 2, 1 times 3 until 1 times 10. Okay, so we have um, STRT loop. Okay, then probably that's for this time only for us to really make it much more simpler. Then we control the loop by just putting strT um, plus plus. Mm. Okay, meaning we will loop start loop for us to control this loop. Okay, so let us run the program. Okay, for example, we enter 2. So we have 2 times 0, 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 4, 2 times 5, 2 times 6, 2 times 7, 2 times 8. Okay, what happened when we have not no 10? It is because in our condition, so for example, it's now turned to 9 because it's working properly. So we have 9. So we have 9 plus increment, so we have 10. So 10 is less than 10. So it makes it false. That is why it will end up to 9. So we want it to reach it to 2 times 10. All we need to do is just to change the condition to equal sign, meaning it is less than or equal to end loop. So meaning if it will now to 10, so we have 10 is less than or equal to 10. So meaning it is still true. Okay, so that is why we have now, okay, for example, 5. So automatically we have 5 times 0 until 5 times 10. Yes, earlier we have only 5 times, for example, 9. Why we have 10 right now? It is because we changed the condition to less than or equal to. So meaning 10 is less than, but we have or equal to. It's either to 2 less than or equal to is to make it true. So that since it is 10 and that this is 10 for the end loop, so that is true. So that make it 10. Okay. So all we need to have right now is the actual multiplication. So we will add another one. We have to multiply. So first we have to put equal sign. Okay, and don't forget to have like this one open close parenthesis. This is arithmetic for us to not to confuse the compiler. So we can have user input times start loop. Okay, so whatever it is for user input, if we input 1, so it start with 1 and we have start up 0. So what happened? We output user input, which is 1, the output the loop, which is 0, then 1 times 0, so it will have 0. Then the start loop again has a value of 0, then it will add 1, so 1 until 10. Repeat the process. So now we run it. Okay, so what will happen? For example, we have to enter 5 as to be create a multiplication table for 5. So now we have to put here 5. So we have 5 times 0 is equal to 0, 5 times 1 equals to 5 until 5 times 10 equals to 50. Okay. So as that one, we see a repetition of process. So we grab the opportunity to use loop for that of the repetitive process. So it's very easy to have a multiplication of up to 10 of a certain number. Okay. So we can also change easily, but if you want to make it instead of 1 to 10, you can adjust it to 1 to 20 or 1 to 100. It's very easy. Just change it here for your end loop, that is the max loop that you are going to use. So you can have run, for example, it is 2. So by enter, so automatically until 100, it will have a multiplication table from 0 to 100. It's very nice idea to have that one. To explain it much more in detail, okay, we have inputted user input. So whatever the inputted user input, it will multiply to whatever or a multiplication table. So it whatever it is, it will be dependent. Okay, so it will store it on user input. So we created or declare a loop, variable for the loop. We have the start loop is equal to 0 because it starts with 0, and the end loop where what is the number that to be end with our loop. So now while, okay, start loop is less than or equal to end loop if the initial value of 0 is 0, so 0 is less than or equal to end loop, so it means true. First you output the user input, that is y2. Okay, then it also output the x, okay, for the graphical interface that telling you that that is 0. Okay, then we can have also the start loop, okay, where the we can have what number we're going to multiply from the inputted data. So it starts with 0 until 100. So that is why start loop, okay, that is 0. So we have another one, output equal sign. This one we put it a calculation, okay, so to multiply. So that is the thing. So that is why what it automatically multiply the two numbers. Then we have end line, because end line, to put end line for us to make it on the next line. If you don't have the end line, what happened? It will just move the data from left to right. So if you will going to remove this one, this would look like in your program. So input 5. So what you can see here, 5 times is it will just snap. Okay, so 5 equals to 5, 5. So it's not nice in organizing the outputted data. So we want it to output a one line for that, for us to really identify. So that is the work for the end line here. Then again, since we have the we call it this increment operator, so it will add from the initial value of 0, it will add 1, so it will go to 1. 1 is now to 0, it is true again, repeat this process, repeat also this one, plus 1, 2, until so on, until start loop is equal to 100. 100 is less than 100 condition. Okay, that is true again, print out this one. 100 plus 1, we have 101. So 101 is less than or equal to loop. That is the time it is false. Then what happened is this loop will not execute. The condition is false. Okay. So it's very easy to have a loop in your program. It creates more productivity. It is because without looping, you can have multiple lines of codes. So it saves a lot of time efforting writing codes that are being repeated. So we can have a table. So we can have not only a multiplication table but also a addition table. Okay, you can put, for example, 5 here. Sorry, you can put 5 here. Okay, so meaning you can have 5 here. This column is intended for subtraction. Second column is addition, and multiplication, and division, and modulo. We can do that in here. So how you can do that? Okay, we can change it. Okay, first is have to output the label for the every column. See out. Addition. So we have slash t for to um, indentation. So we have addition, sub subtraction, subtraction. Okay, or we can have add, sub slash t, mol slash t div. Okay, so can we end the line? Run. You can test it out. For example, 2. So we can have, okay, add some mol div. So why I put it here outside the loop? Because I don't want to be included in the repeating process. I only need it on the output once. Because if I will replace it here inside the loop, what happened? It will uh, duplicate every row. For example, 1. So what happened? As you can see, it okay. Every row has that column name, so it's very redundant. So that is the reason why this label is outside the loop, so you don't need to loop it all the same. It will not be included on the loop. Okay, so we can perform variables declaration for us to really be being organized in here. So first is to create. We will create a loop, an integer, add, sub, mol, and div for us to store our calculated data. So we have add is equal to user input plus strt loop. We can have also sub is equal to user input subtracted by strt loop. Okay, we have mol is equal to user input multiplication strt loop, and div is equal to user input division symbol. Okay, and strt loop. Okay, we have these arithmetic operations based on the inputted number and also the start loop when they run of the loop here. So output here, um, um, for the first output here, user, okay, this is addition. Okay, one that is good, equal sign. So you don't need to calculate here. Just add, just call the add variable add. Save, run. So for example 2, okay, what happened? Let us try it again. 2. So what really happening is it's really not working. Let us check it why it is. Okay, add in start loop. We will try to include it in here because of these arithmetic operations included. Pero let us try and solve this issue. Okay, 5, still the same. It's warning. Okay, mol warning variable mol set but not used. It's being set here, but it's not being used, right? Okay, no values. So let us put values first. Is it good? We will try it again. Sorry for this debugging session. Okay, it's still the same. By the way, probably we cannot do it here. So we go directly in here. So we have user input sub strt loop, save, run. This is the best choice we can have right now. We have 100 to make it much more formal. No, it's just only multiplication to 10. Okay, run. Okay, 5. So yeah, 1 plus. Okay, the sub. So in case of this one, we don't need to end this line, but we will have slash t, right? And we are going to see out it again. Just copy and paste, but this see out will all just be side of this other see out. So user, and this one is subtraction, and we have start loop. Okay, so this is now very tricky because we have to whatever, no, whatever they inputted will be deducted, no? So it is let us see if that is the correct one, no? We will try to run, but I guess that is wrong, so we will just change it later. 5. Okay, again, so we will add end line after this run for make it much more nicer to look at. 5. Okay, so as you can see, we have 5 plus 0. So here 5 minus 0 equals 5. 5 minus 6, 4. Okay, it's wrong because we have to change this one to subtraction. Run it again, then 5. As you can see, we have a negative values because 5 minus, so it would be from 0, 0 minus 5, 1 minus 5, because right now we have negative values here. So we will change, no? Instead of user input minus, we will change it to that one. Okay, so what happened, it first have a negative. Okay, so 5 minus 0, 5 minus 1, 5 minus 2, 5 minus 3, 5 minus 4, 5 minus 5, 5 minus 6, okay, 5 minus 7, 5 minus 8, 5 minus 9, 5 minus 10. Oh, okay, we have that. Is it okay? But negative. Okay, but it's also the same. I will just redo it again here. I guess that is okay. Uh, okay, 5. Okay, so it starts with 5 minus 0 until 5 minus 10. So it's negative 15, right? Negative 5. Okay, so we'll just remove the end line. This one is for the multiplication, and this is for division. So we can have this one as multiplication, and we change this one to multiplication also. This one for division, and this one also for division, and this the last one we have end line. Run. Okay, 5 minus. Okay, I see what is the problem. Why there is an error of this program. So, as can we check it again? In C5, there is a problem with the division. So, I forgot that any number divided by 0, because it start with 0, is undefined in mathematics. Still the same in programming. So all we need to do here is to change it. So instead of user input divided by the loop, it should be the loop. Okay, here same again. The user input. So 0 starts with 0, divide 5. So any number, okay, any number which is a 0 is divided by any number, it's equal to 0. But any number divided by 0, it is undefined in mathematics. That is why we change it, we interchange the placement of the denominator and numerator. So as we check it, okay, when 5, okay, as you can see here, we have 0 divided by 5 is equal to 0. 1 divided by 5 equals 0. 2 divided by 5 equals 0. 3 divided by 5 equals 0. So why is this all 0 and 1? It is because it is integer. There is no decimal places because we don't use float. So that is why we have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So we will change also for the subtraction, the same with the division. We will replace it. We'll just copy the division and replace it to subtraction, and change this one to this one and this one for us to really have a good uh, placement, or call it nice, an organized column. So okay, why we have that? Okay, we will change, we move to end line. So again, okay, so we have 5. So you can see here, all this one is addition in this column, this one is subtraction. Okay, 0 minus 5. Okay, we have 5 times, okay, then 0. So we managed to have addition table of a specific number, multiplication table, subtraction table, and division table of a specific number. Next example of a while loop is to find the sum of the inputted numbers. The program will ask how many numbers will the user input, and the program will calculate all the numbers. Okay, so to start with, we have to create variables like um, the number of loop the program will execute. Also, we will store all the calculated numbers, so in the variable sum, and we will set initial value of 0, and also we will store the inputted numbers in each loop on variable number num. So we have 3 variables here. So to start with, we output or prompt the user to input a number, how many numbers. So cout how many numbers to add. Okay, then scene, store it on new number of loop. Okay, I will create variables like the number of loops, so that is the last or the end loop. Okay, so we will assign that end loop is equal to number of loop. Yeah, and then we have int start loop is equal to 0. So we have the initial start loop of 0 and the end loop. So when the user enter 5, so that is the end loop. Okay. So next is we will have start the while loop. So while start loop is less than, okay, is less than, yeah, or equal to end loop. So the user will, the program will prompt what is the number, what is the first number if the input, when the user input 5, so it will ask the first number followed by second number, third number, fourth number, and fifth number. And after the user input the fifth number, the program will calculate the sum of the inputted numbers. So it will look like this. Let's see out, enter a number. Okay, then it will store it on num sim. So the program will look like this. So we will try to run. Okay, so when we enter 5, it will ask enter number. So example 1, it will ask another 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7. So it will not stop. It is because we make an infinite loop. So we don't have the control. So in order to control our loop, since this now one is always running, we want to stop it at 5 because we only need 5 numbers to be inputted. So now to fix that one in the while loop, okay, we will have strt loop plus plus to increment, to not to be steady the value of a start loop to into initial value of 0. So uh to fix it, so we add this increment start loop, post increment start loop. So what happened when we run, for example, we put 5, so the first enter number, for example 10, I have 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay, 60. So we have a problem. We inputted 6, we only intended to have 5. So but the program stopped at a certain number, so the loop is not infinite, but we have some mistakes here. Okay, probably we start at 0, 0. So since we have less than or equal to end loop, so we have equal to, so we will adjust this 1, 0 to 1. So we will try again, for example 4 or 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the program stops when you inputted 5 numbers. So the lacking is we have to sum or add all the 5 numbers. So expected that the output will be 6, 10, 15. Okay, so to do that, you have to, once you enter the number, we have to put, okay, call the variable sum. Sum is equal to whatever the value of sum plus num. So meaning, since we have an initial value of 0, so sum has a 0. Now 0 plus what is the value inputted by num1? Num. Since num will have a lot of values because it depends how many loops that the program will loop. So okay, let me run to explain it much more better. So we'll run it by 5. So first I will enter 1, 1, so meaning it is 1, so it will now, it you enter a number, so it will store its in for 1. So what happened is, you know the value of sum, which is 0, so sum is equal to 0 plus 1. So the value of sum right now is having 1. Then the value of start loop is equal to 1. We'll add 1 because of the increments we have 2. So now 2 is less than or equal to end loop. It will have ask again a number because of the condition. So it will ask another number. So will I put 2? What happened? Sum has at 1. So we have sum is equal to 1 plus the unfilled value of 2. So we have the value of 3. Okay. This one, it is now 2 plus 1, you have 3. Okay. So now 3 is less than or equal to and 3 is less than or equal to end loop, which is still 5. Do you input it for 5? So that is true again. So enter number. Then 3, it enters with the variable now. So we have 3, and sum has already 3 stored values. So we have 3, sum is equal to 3 plus 3, so we have 6. Okay, so when you enter again, because of this one, it is now 3 plus 1, you have 4. So now 4 is less than or equal to end loop, which is 5. I still true. It has again another number, which is this one. And then when you input a number, it will store again with the variable num. Now what happened? We have the value of that is 6. So 6, sum is equal to 6. So sum is equal to 6 plus 4. So we have 10 for the value of variable sum. Now this is now returned to 5. So now because 4 plus 1 equals to 5. So now 5 is less than equal to end loop. So that is again true. So enter again a number. That is why we have here. For example, I enter 5. So if the 5 will store it a num variable. Now we have initial value of sum is equal to 10. So we have sum is equal to 10 plus 5. So the answer of this one, the stored value of sum is equal to 15. Now we have the start loop has a value of 4. So 4 plus 1 equals to, sorry, the value of this one is 5. So 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. Now 6 less than equal to end loop, which is 5. That is now false. So now the loop will not execute. That is why when you put 5, it will stop. It stopped and we enter. Okay. Nothing outputs. It is because we not intended to output. So how we are going to do outside the loop, we will output cout. Okay. The sum of the number is, okay, which is sum and end line. So run it again. So for example, I assume only to add 3 numbers. So I only have 1, 2, and 3. So we expected the answer is 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3 is equal to 6. So that's so okay. There is no 0 there. So the program is good. Okay. For example, I input 10. So I add the first is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 for example. So the answer is 55, which is correct. So to make it much more nicer, when we know to enter, for example, the program will be generated automatically. For example, enter the first number, enter the second number, enter the third number, enter the fourth number. For us the program which is dynamic. So we will just improve a little in our program. So to add on it, let me add another string. I can name it to variable p and set it into an empty value. Okay, and we will add if statement and our while loop. So we can have like this. You can add insert if statement inside the while. So we have if um um okay, so we have start a start loop. Okay, because we are concerning about the first, second, and third. Okay, so if the inputted number is equal to 1, so that is st first. So all the 1, so we were going together. 11 is th, so is that included? So we have 21. So or again, we have 31. Or again, we have 41. It's I'll just up to 50. So we have 51. So once you have 51, it will have, okay, p is equal to, okay, st first. Okay, for all the second. So else if, so we have for the second, 22nd, 12 is not because th is the 12, so 32nd, 42nd, and 52nd. Also another concern is the else, so just copy and paste for me to make it fast. So third, before we proceed, we will change it to nd. Okay, and this one is 3, 3. Okay, third. Okay, third. I will just rd and else everything. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th is all are th. Okay, so what happened? So enter. Okay, so you will just adjust here. Enter the, okay, whatever the number, so str loop, and add the variable p of that one. Okay, so what happened is when you run the program, okay, what happened? There is an error. What is the error? Start loop, see out, enter the start loop p. Okay, we had this one. Okay, run. So I will enter 20 number. Okay, so enter the first number. Good, the program recognizes that this is the first number. So I will add, for example, 1. So we have now entered the second. Okay, choose 2. Enter the third. Okay, we have fourth. Very good. Fifth. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0 for the 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So after the 20, so it will add the sum of the numbers are 20, which is good. So we managed to create this simple program by the use of while statement, and also for the if statement to make it much more nicer. So we'll just add some correction. So the sum of the numbers are, is, sorry, and we have input the, I'll just add here number. As to check it, I will just add 2 number. Okay, so we have 50 and 60. The answer is, the numbers is 100. So everything is good. Okay, so that's a good example for finding the sum of the inputted numbers. Okay, last example for while loop. This is a program to find the sum of a positive number. If the user enters a negative number, the loop ends. the negative number entered is not added to the sum. So it will look like this, the source code. So first is we're going to declare a number, int number, and a number that holds the, the entered the inputted data, and then the sum is the storage for all uh, the sum of the the inputted numbers. So we have int number and sum. Okay, we um, can have enter a number. So we can have while, we have cout, enter a number, cin a number. Okay, then while, this is now the condition. If the loop, okay, if number is greater than 0, meaning it's all positive, so what happened? It stores it on sum, okay, is equal to sum and plus inputted number num. Okay, then it will also cout again to enter a number. The same thing happens in the above part, because we want after the loop it will enter another number. And cin number. Okay, then last is to output the number. So cout the sum is, and okay, so we will try. Okay, this is not plus, it's equal sign. Run. Okay, what is the problem? Sum. Okay, sorry, this is number. Sorry, this number. Okay, so when I enter 1, so it is another one. So when you enter 1, it stores. Okay, since the condition is true. Okay, what happened? 1, we enter 1, it will store in the sum data variable. So sum has no value, so sum that is equal to initial value of 0. So sum is equal to 0 plus 1, we have 1. Okay, so enter a number. So this is now the stage. And I enter again 10. So it inputs to the number. Now again, go back here. If 10 is greater than 0, again it is positive. So it again starts with here. It will sum up 1. Sum has a value of 1 plus 10 is equals to 1 has a sum has a value of 1 and plus number is 10. We have now 11 for the sum. So it enters another number. So I want it to stop, so I will make it negative 5. So to make the condition false, what happened? It stopped. When it stopped, okay, it will output the sum. But I forgot to include it here, so I will put here sum. Add it again. In here, we'll add 5, 10, okay, 2. All of those are negative positive values, so the answer will be 17. So I will put negative 10. It will turn the condition false, so it has to be like this. Okay, 649. So what happened? It is because I forgot to put initial value for sum. Sorry for that. Okay, we want it to become an initial value for 0. Okay, and again 10, 5, 2, and then negative 10. That's the answer is 17. Okay, that's my wrong is to not to set the mistake is to not to set the initial value of sum as to equal to 0. So that's it for the topic about while loop. So next session will be for loop. So I guess you have learned something in this while loop lesson. So if you have questions, please contact me through Facebook or Messenger or my personal contact number. So I guess it's all wraps up for this lesson. Thank you for watching and God bless everyone. Bye bye.